every letter ranked as a prison. If you had to build a prison, which letter would you choose? Some letters are almost impossible to escape. Others couldn't even trap a stickman for 5 seconds. Today, we're turning every letter into a prison. Let's begin. Let's start with one of the strongest contenders, O. At first glance, O looks almost perfect. There are no corners to hide weak points, no awkward gaps, and no obvious escape routes. It's just one giant continuous wall surrounding the prisoner from every direction. Our stickman immediately begins looking for a way out. He checks every wall. He searches for hidden tunnels. He even starts knocking on the walls, hoping one of them sounds hollow. Nothing. After several hours of searching, he realizes something. There simply isn't anywhere to go. If escaping is the goal, O makes that goal feel almost impossible. There isn't really much to analyze here. It's C. Half the prison is missing. The moment our stickman arrives, he doesn't even bother looking around. He just stares at the giant opening for a few seconds. Then he walks straight through it. That's it. No climbing, no digging, just walking. Even our stickman looked confused by how easy it was. Honestly, if you can escape in less time than it takes to lock the door, you probably shouldn't call it a prison. Escape difficulty? Very easy. Now this is much better. A immediately feels secure. The triangular shape creates steep walls that are surprisingly difficult to climb, and the narrow top leaves very little room for creative escape plans. Our stickman spends the first few minutes trying to climb the sides. He slips. It doesn't need thick walls or complicated security systems. Its shape does all the hard work. Simple, effective, and surprisingly difficult to escape. At first glance, H looks like a fantastic prison. The prisoner starts on the bridge connecting the two towers high above the ground. The walls are completely vertical, making them almost impossible to climb. Jumping isn't an option either. It's simply too high. For a moment, H feels like one of the strongest prisons we've tested so far. Our stickman carefully examines every wall, looking for a crack, a gap, or any possible way out. Nothing. Then he notices something. A ladder. He drags it over, props it against the wall, climbs up to the top, climbs down the other side, and casually walks away. Escape difficulty, medium. B is surprisingly secure. Our stickman starts inside the lower loop, but escaping quickly becomes a nightmare. The walls completely surround him, leaving no obvious way out. He tries jumping, but the space is also so small, with no guards, no locks, and no doors. B still manages to keep him trapped. Escape probability, impossible. J isn't even trying to be a prison. Our stickman looks around for a second, then realizes one side is completely open. He doesn't need to climb. He doesn't need to dig. He doesn't even need a plan. He simply takes one step to the side, and he's free. Escape probability, very easy. At first glance, T looks incredibly secure. It's tall. It's solid, and those massive walls make it look almost impossible to climb. Staring all the way to the top, he jumps. Not even close. He tries climbing the wall. Too tall. For a moment, it actually looks like T might be one of the strongest prisons we've tested so far. Then, our stickman takes 2 steps to the left and simply walks around it. That's it. The prison never stood a chance. It's kind of like building the world's strongest front door and forgetting to build the walls. Escape probability, very easy. At first glance, you look surprisingly secure. Our stickman drops inside. The walls are tall, completely smooth. He tries climbing. Slides right back down. He jumps, not even close. Everything looks impossible until a ladder. Our stickman casually places it against the wall, starts climbing, and it's too short. Seriously? He climbs all the way to the top, only to realize he's still nowhere near the edge. Escape probability, very hard. It was just another normal day. The Stickman was standing still, doing absolutely nothing. And then, without any warning, a giant letter M came crashing down from the sky. And just like that, he was trapped. He tried the left wall. Solid. He tried the right wall. Also solid. Not even a single shake. So he decided to climb. But halfway up, he saw it. The top was closed. A sharp corner, blocking every way out. And gravity did the rest. He slipped. Escape probability. Very hard. The letter Z, and there was our Stickman, trapped right at the bottom corner. He checked left. Nope. Solid wall. There's no way out. But then, he looked right, and froze, because the whole side was open. Wide open. So he just walked out, like it was nothing. Escape probability. Very easy. The letter G, a closed circle with one tiny gap, and there was our Stickman, curled up at the bottom, no space at all. He pushed, nothing moved, just walls. Then, he looked to the side. There was a gap. It was uncomfortable, but he crawled out anyway. Escape probability, medium. Well, I guess we just spent several minutes turning the alphabet into prisons, and honestly, that was surprisingly fun. So now, I need your help. What's the next ridiculous experiment we should try? Leave your best what if idea in the comments. If it's good enough, it might become the next Stickman scenario. See you in the next one.